If you thought part 1 was something, wait until you see part 2 of this week's Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can order Tarkir Dragonstorm, pre-order Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy, or find a vast number of other great items on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Tarkir Dragonstorm cards and Deadpool Trading Card are causing big ripples in the secondary market for sure, so if you missed part 1, go back and watch that video first. The market was so turbulent this week, I had to split the Market Watch into 2 parts, and between the 2, we are looking at the top 30 cold cards and the top 30 hot cards. In this episode, we're counting down the top 15 cold as well as the top 15 hot ones. So what can you expect from part 2? Well, a lot of the key drivers from part 1, just bigger price dips and spikes, but there's some surprises in here too. As always, our lists are based on 2 pieces of criteria: the percentage change in the value of the cards, as well as the change in the number of sales from week to week. We'll quickly look at the cold cards and then spend a little more time on the cards moving up in price. Quickly before we get started, just one fast thing. I do want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons, that is WolfOfTinStreet Ban. Well, thank you for all your support on Patreon. It truly goes a long way. I could not do this without viewers like yourself. Thank you, Wolf, for the support you've given the channel. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we'll begin with part 2 of the cold cards. Most of our cold cards this week are from Tarkir Dragonstorm products, which again isn't too surprising since the set and commander decks came out last week. A lot of product is being opened, so cards are getting into players' hands, which is diluting demands even for some of the highly played cards. In part 2, we're going to be looking at the cards ranging from numbers 15 to number 1, starting with a card that's down 11 spots to get here this week. It's Ketchermos the New Dawn. Down 395 to 2372, that's a 14% decrease. Number 14, Rot Curse Rakshasa, down $4.23 to $5, that's a 46% decrease. This is from Tarkir Dragonstorm's main set. Number 13, Elsha Threefold Master, down $5.66 to $2.38. That's a 70% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Jeskai Striker Commander deck. Number 12, Be to Our Ancestors' Voice, down $5.84 to $6.15. That's a 49% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Abzan Armor Commander deck. Last week, this was number 3 on the hot list. This week it checks in at number 11 on the cold list. It is Powder Keg from Urza's Destiny, down $6.28 to $48.71. That's an 11% decrease. We see this frequently. A card spikes aggressively, sellers try to take advantage of the spike and put more copies up for sale. Then the extra inventory in the marketplace causes some retraction. Alright, back to where we normally begin. Number 10, Taval the Balanced Scale, down $6.49 to $8.50. That's a 43% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Sultai Arisen Commander deck. Number 9, Mistrise Village, down $6.94 to $10. That's a 41% decrease. Number 8, Eshki Teamer's Roar, down $7.64 to $3.64. That's a 68% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Teamer Roar Commander deck. A week ago, this was number 6 on the hot list. Last week, it took the top spot, but this week it arrives on the cold list at number 7, Determined Iteration, down $8.08 to $30.92. That's a 21% decrease. This is from the Streets of New Capenna Maestro's Massacre Commander deck. It's retracting after an extremely aggressive spike that occurred mostly due to the additional play it was seeing in Commander with Deadpool Trading Card. Again though, a lot of copies of this hit the marketplace over the last week. Number 6 is Mox Jasper, down $8.73 to $24.26. That's a 26% decrease. Number 5, Draco Genesis, down $9.90 to $20. That's a 33% decrease. Number 4, who are you going to call? Call the Spirit Dragons, down $10.14 to $7. That's a 59% decrease. Number 3, Ugin, Eye of the Storms, down $11.17 to $58.82. That's a 16% decrease. Number 2, Ureni of the Unwritten, down 11.75 to 26.18. That's a 31% decrease. This is the foil copy from the Team Aurora deck, and some of these price drops really show you how many of these commander decks are being opened right now. And coming in at number 1, Gold Lust Triad, down $12.50 to $12.50. That's a 50% decrease. This one is from Tarkir Dragonstorm's Mardu Surge commander deck. Alright, on to the main event with our hottest cards of the week, part 2. These are the biggest spikes of the week, starting with number 15. It's a card that's down 8 spots this week. Caesar Legion's Emperor, up 540 to 1178. That's an 85% increase. This is the foil copy from the Fallout Hail Caesar commander deck. It continues to be a popular commander, and it's found in the 99 of builds like Isshin Two Heavens is 1 and Kalia of the Vast, for example. However, Tarkir Dragonstorm is really pushing Caesar's price this week. Some want this to upgrade the new Mardu Surge commander deck, while others want to use it for fresh builds around 2 cards from there, the front-facing commander, Zurgo Stormrender, and Nuriv Crackling Vanguard. Caesar Legion's Emperor is also appearing in commander decks around a couple cards from the main set, Nuriv Heart of the Storm, and Zurgo Thunder's Decree. Number 14 is Stock Up. It goes up $5.60 to $11.69. That's a 92% increase. This continues to see play in many decks in multiple formats. First off, it's all over standard. You see it in Esper Self Bounce, Azorius Control, Esper Omniscience Combo, Bant Control, and sometimes Dimir Self Bounce. But one of the big reasons that Stock Up is spiking this week is the fact that there are builds in standard that are improving thanks to cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm. For example, you see Stock Up and Is It Aggro along with 4 copies of this new card, Hoary Steel Cutter. Stock Up's also in Jeskai Control with 4 copies of Shiko Paragon of the Way. In Pioneer, it's played in Azorius Control, Hidden Strings, Mono Blue Rona Combo, and Dimir Control. Over in Modern, you see this in Omnith builds, Thopter Combo, Dimir Coffers, and sometimes Tron. Yep, it gets Legacy play too. Omnitel, Sneak and Show, Painter, Grixis Tempo, and sometimes Is It Delver. How about Vintage? Yeah, it's there too. Luris Breach, Besiege Storm, Luris Paradoxical Outcome, Oath of Druids, Regular Paradoxical Outcome, Luris Deathrite Shaman, Underworld Breach, and Tanker. This is a big card in some 1v1 dual commander decks too, like Lear Disciple of the Drowned and Dominatu the Fate Shifter. It's even seeing more play in builds around Shiko Paragon of the Way there. Finally, Stock Up is in several regular commander decks too, Kenrith the Return King and Lord of the Nazgul, but it is getting additional play in that format in decks around Shiko Paragon of the Way and Taigam Master Opportunist. Overall, Standard is the key driver for Stock Up's spike this week, but all the other formats, especially Commander, are playing a role here too. Down 2 spots this week to number 13, Ripples of Undeath, up $6.11 to $14. That's a 77% increase. This has been getting a good amount of play in Commander ever since it came out. You would frequently see it in builds around Winter Cynical Opportunist and Muldroth of the Gravetide, for example. However, again, new cards are causing this to see even more play in the format, hence the price increase. Some players wanted to upgrade the Sultai Arisen and Abzan Armor commander decks, while others are putting it in fresh builds around Taval the Balanced Scale from Sultai Arisen and Beator Ancestr's Voice from Abzan Armor. Ripples of Undeath is actually getting some 1v1 dual commander play now around Taval the Balanced Scale too. I'm also seeing Ripples of Undeath in regular commander decks around a couple cards from the main set, Taval Arbiter of Virtue and Sidisi Regent of the Mire. Up 2 spots this week to number 12, Delina Wild Mage. This is up $6.26 to $13.77. That's an 83% increase. This is a fairly popular commander, and it's been seeing play in the 99 of several decks there, like Mr. House President and CEO, and Isshin Two Heavens is 1. But like the previous card, it's also seeing more play now thanks to new cards. I have seen some putting this in commander decks around Nuriv Heart of the Storm from Tarkir Dragonstorm, but that's not the real reason Delina Wild Mage is jumping the way it is. Delina is a card many want for their Deadpool trading card commander builds, along with the Master Multiplied, and some other cards that prevent you from sacrificing or exiling your tokens. Basically, many of the Deadpool builds are trying to create a bunch of token copies of Deadpool. That's the true catalyst for Delina's price increase. What is he, some sort of an instigator? Down 1 spot this week to number 11, Furkrag Cunning Instigator. Up $7 to $13, that's a 117% increase. This is the foil copy from the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate Draconic Descent commander deck. It's been a fairly popular commander, and we've seen it in the 99 of builds like Miram Sentinel Worm and the Dragon, for example. As you know, Tarkir Dragonstorm has brought a ton of support for Commander Dragon decks, so it's not too surprising to see a card like this jumping now. Additionally, I've seen some getting this to upgrade the Tarkir Dragonstorm Temur Roar Commander deck, while others are putting it in fresh builds around Ureni of the Unwritten from there. Quickly before we finally get to our top 10, just a fast reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pick up Tarkir Dragonstorm products there. You can also pre-order Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy products, or find any number of other great items on their website, Magic related or otherwise. Remember, if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or the comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 10. Number 10, Terror of the Peaks. The core set 2021 copy is up $704 to $40. That's a 21% increase. The Outlaws of Thunder Junction copy is up $785 to $40.77. That's a 24% increase. This has been seeing a little 1v1 dual commander play in builds like Miram Sentinel Worm and the Dragon, but regular commander is the key driver here. First off, this is another card that is just better now that Tarkir Dragonstorm has given so much additional support to the creature type. Commander Dragon builds that run this are just stronger builds now. The Dragon, Miram Sentinel Worm, Tiamat, and Kalia the Vast, for example. Plus, this is getting more play now in decks around new cards. Many are grabbing this to upgrade the Temur Roar commander deck, while others are putting it in fresh builds around a couple cards from there, Ureni of the Unwritten, and the front-facing commander, Eshki Temur's Roar. Terror of the Peaks is also getting additional play in builds around a card from Tarkir Dragonstorm's main set, Nuriv Heart of the Storm. However, it's also getting a boost from everybody's favorite Merc with a Mouth. Yep, players want it for their Deadpool trading card commander decks too, in order to do damage as they create Deadpool tokens. Put it all together, and Terror of the Peaks is a very hot card right now. Down 4 spots this week to number 9, Klauth Unrivaled Ancient, up $10.06 to $40 for a 34% increase. This is the foil copy from the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms Draconic Rage commander deck. It's a solid commander and in the 99 of some builds like the Dragon and Miram Sentinel Worm. Of course, this is spiking now because of the dragon support that arrived with Tarkir Dragonstorm. Like we've been discussing, cards like this and dragon builds in general are just better and more popular currently. Additionally, some are getting it to upgrade the Temur Roar commander deck, while others are using it in new builds around a card from there, Ureni of the Unwritten. Number 8, Sapling of Kulfanor. The Commander 2021 copy from the Witherbloom Witchcraft deck is up $714 to $9. That's a 384% increase. The one from Eventide is up $1181 to $1398. That's a 544% increase. Occasionally, you see this used as a commander, and it has appeared in the 99 of builds like Doran the Siege Tower, for example. But now, Tarkir Dragonstorm is really making this a sought-after card. Some are putting it in commander decks around Beator Kin to All from the main set. However, many players are getting Sapling of Kulfanor to upgrade the new Abzan Armor deck. Others are putting it in new builds around a couple cards from there. The front-facing commander, Felothar the Steadfast, as well as Beator Ancestor's Voice. Lots of players have always loved builds that focus on high toughness, low power creatures. In fact, Sapling of Kulfanor is not the last card spiking because of Abzan Armor. Number 7, Macready Lamplight Mayor, up $1317 to $1471. That's an 855% increase. This is from the Fallout Hail Caesar commander deck. It has been seeing a little commander play in builds around Caesar Legion's Emperor from its precon, and General Kudro Dranith, for example, but I think you already see what's going on here. If I attacked with low power creatures, but they assign damage based on their toughness, this would be a pretty good card to have on the battlefield, right? Like the last card, some players are putting this in commander builds around Beator Kin to All, but others are using Macready Lamplight Mayor to upgrade the Abzan Armor commander deck, or they're putting in fresh builds around Felothar the Steadfast from there. Number 6, Tree of Perdition. The Innistrad Remastered copy goes up $641 to $2349. That's a 38% increase. The Eldritch Moon one is up $1232 to $30.03. That's a 70% increase. And the one from Jumpstart 2022 is up $1610 to $3440. That's an 88% increase. Third verse, same as the first. This is another nasty, low power, high toughness creature. Now, it has been seeing some commander play in decks like Ezio Auditore da Firenze and Phoenix God of Deception. However, new cards are pushing the price here. This is in those B-Tour Kin to All Commander decks, and many players are also getting Tree of Perdition to upgrade the Abzan Armor deck. Meanwhile, in a shocking turn of events, others are putting in new builds around Felithar the Steadfast from there. That alone would be more than enough to spike Tree of Perdition, but on top of all that, some players are using it in their Deadpool trading card builds to bring a player's life total down. Yup, Tree of Perdition is another extremely hot card right now. Number 5, Tyrant Guard, up 1972 to 2175. That's a 971% increase if you're doing the math at home. This is from the Warhammer 40k Tyranid Swarm Commander deck. It sees a little commander play, sometimes in decks around Magus Lucia Kane from its precon, or Zexara the Exemplary, for example. I'm not seeing this showing up in any deck lists around cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm. It's the wrong color identity for Deadpool, so why is this jumping now? It appears that this is a speculative buyout based around one of the Final Fantasy preview cards. The card is Tidus Yuna's Guardian from the upcoming Counter Blitz Commander deck. We'll have to keep an eye on Tyrant Guard to see if copies begin to come back to the marketplace quickly now that the card is spiked, or if copies stay off the market until we get closer to the release of Final Fantasy. Number 4, Wave of Reckoning. The Mercadian Mask copy is up $11.03 to $19. That's a 138% increase. The Commander 2016 copy from Stalwart Unity is up $20.67 to $27.72. That's a 293% increase. This has been seeing a little commander play in decks like Arcades the Strategist and Doran the Siege Tower, for example, but by now you know what's causing this spike. It's a good card to play if your creatures have low power and high toughness. Many are getting copies of Wave of Reckoning to put in commander builds around B-Tour Kin to All. It's also a good upgrade to the Abzan Armor deck, and many players are putting in fresh builds around Felithar the Steadfast from there as well. Number 3, Jeweled Lotus, the Commander Legends copy, up 1996 to 77.49. That's a 35% increase. The Commander Masters copy up 23.38 to 79.99. That's a 41% increase. Well, you can only cast a commander with the mana from this card, but it's banned in Commander, so it doesn't see play anywhere. However, this was one of the cards that upset a lot of people when it was banned in the format last year, and some players and speculators have been banking on the possibility that this could become unbanned, at least for higher power commander bracket decks, once Wizards re-examines the ban list. A few weeks ago, Gavin Verhey said that they would be discussing the commander format on April 22nd. He also said that there could potentially be some unbannings, but no bannings at this time. I guess we'll have to see how Wizards feels about fast mana and commander going forward, but as we approach April 22nd, some of the speculation that we saw a few months ago has started to rekindle. Number 2, Merchant Scroll, the Homelands copy up 606 to 1451. That's a 72% increase. The 8th edition copy up $27.23 to $35. That's a 350% increase. This card has only been printed in wide release products twice, and the last time was 2003. Now, there have been 2 other printings of Merchant Scroll since then. One is a Judge foil, and you can find a copy in the Mystery Booster 2 product. However, this is a tough card to find in good condition currently. So what kind of play does it see? Well, it's restricted in Vintage, but it still sees play there in Lurrus Breach, Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome, Regular Paradoxical Outcome, and Underworld Breach. Over in 1v1 Dual Commander, this is in Lair Disciple of the Drowned builds, and in Regular Commander, it can show up in some different decks like Urzalord High Artificer and Stella Lee Wildcard, for example. However, Pauper is the format behind this spike. Recently, High Tide was unbanned in the format, and now there are a couple variations of High Tide decks running Merchant Scroll, Combo, and Familiars. Right now, Combo is the more popular of the two. We'll have to see how the format adjusts to the new meta, but right now, Merchant Scroll is hot. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Replenish, up $28.65 to $155. That's a 23% increase. This reserve list card is heating up again. First, it gets some commander play in a few decks. For example, you occasionally see it in builds around Sithis Harvest Hand or Zur the Enchanter, for example. However, it's the pre-modern format that's truly driving this price spike. Replenish is a big part of the Parallax Replenish decks that have been performing extremely well in the format. At their heart, they're control decks that animate enchantments with opalescence. You also see Replenish in other builds like Enchantress and Landstill, but Parallax Replenish is specifically the key driver for this price increase. Well, we made it. 30 hot cards, 30 cold cards over the course of 2 videos. The market is on fire right now. We'll have to see what happens next week. Will things start to calm down? Will they get more turbulent? Who knows? Until next time though, hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.